so the hitting stream for MLB The Show 19 literally just ended like 10 seconds ago. But yeah, so honestly, this is going to be a really fun one to talk about. There's a lot to unpack in this. They discussed not as there wasn't as much to talk about in this stream, but it is definitely a huge step forward in the right direction for SDS. And I'm just gonna just like the last couple of videos I've been doing, I'm just gonna be flashing up screenshots of like a bunch of the major points that they decided to make. So in this stream, it was all about the hitting mechanics in the game, and as we all know, MLB The Show 18 had probably the worst hitting mechanics, probably ever. In any MLB game, online it was just terrible. It felt like contact hitters were basically obsolete. There was the problem with, like the whole immortal Joey Gallo and the Ryan Schimpf, Gary Sanchez. There was a whole spiel with that, but they did address a lot of that in this video, or in this stream. But yeah, so right here, before the stream even started, they ended up flashing up what they were going to talk about. So in the stream, they ended up talking about the changes in bunting. They talked about what they changed with pitching. They didn't really have it. They didn't really have any screenshots that I could get for that because they just flashed this back up there. But yeah, they talked about pitching. They talked about pure contact hitters. They talked about PCI being king this year. They also talked about the timing and swing analysis, and then they revealed a brand new legend. We will get to that at the end of this video. Let me just say it's probably one of the biggest ones of the year. All right. So here was the first screenshot that they decided to show us. This was when they first started to discuss bunting. Just first impressions, it looks like this is going to be a brand new layout for Diamond Dynasty. As you can see, the score thing is different. It looks like the lineup is going to be underneath the scoreboard and the tally marks, basically. Also, look down in the bottom left-hand corner and look at the feedback. All right. So obviously, it was a good, okay swing, only 78 off of the bat. But look at the PCI itself. If you guys remember, I believe it was earlier this year or sometime late last year in 17. For some reason, MLB The Show decided to go ahead and introduce the feedback PCI with using buckshot. All right. I just found that bizarre, and just the way the feedback was, it wasn't really accurate whatsoever. So I believe they're going to be sticking with with one of the brand new PCIs they introduced. I think it was the new one from last that they introduced for this year's game. But yeah, I can't remember which one it's called, but it was the brand new one. I think it's going to stay that way the entire time, and honestly, I'm all for it. But yeah, basically they just said that you're able to bunt in situations that you're able to bunt in. All right, so with Madison Bumgarner. There's a runner on second, and you want to get the runner over to third. So you probably wouldn't want to bunt with Madison Bumgarner, but they just use this as the example. But the bunt basically ended up going to the right of the pitcher, to the right of the pitcher's mound. It ended up getting that runner over to third base. It looked, like a regular bunt. But they also showed us an example right here with this screenshot. And this is Juan Soto against the shift. They did not surprisingly, they did not discuss the shift in the defense or the offensive thing and whether they turned that off or not. I hope they do. But yeah, so Juan Soto against the shift. This was a bunt that he ended up getting down. Clearly you can see you're obviously not going to be doing this every time, especially with a guy like Juan Soto, or if there's like Joey Gallo is at the plate or something like that. Good power guy who you wouldn't expect, or you would expect to be in the shift. Probably you wouldn't want to, be bunting with every single time. But Juan Soto ended up getting it down, and he ended up reaching first base. basically they just said that you're not going to be able to the bunt, spam the bunt button and expect to get on base every single time. They said, if you're bunting with D Gordon, if you miss it the first time and you miss it the second time, the third baseman is most likely going to pick up what the batter is trying to do. They just basically brought bunting back into the game without bringing back the bunt cheese part of it. They said it's gonna hurt you if you keep bunting. You're not gonna be able to exploit it in any way. But it's like if you're in a late game situation and you're down by 2 runs and somebody's a power lefty is in the shift and you want to bunt against the shift, you'd probably be able to do that in like the bottom of 7 or bottom of 8 if you're down by a couple. But it's like if everybody in your lineup is in the shift, you're not going to be able to push bunt over there all the time. It's gonna come back to bite you basically. In this next screenshot again, this is where they talked about the general pitching, tuning. So basically what they discussed here, they discussed how breaking balls, they discussed that breaking balls aren't going to be as effective this year. They said that sliders I think they said sliders were the only ones that they did not touch. Let's see, they said changeups and curveballs aren't going to have as much of a break. So that's always good to hear. Let's see, what else did they discuss? They said that splitters are not going to be as effective. So obviously for guys who have a splitter, I can't think of a guy who just has a splitter as like a 3 or 4 pitch. They said that if you use the splitter as your 3 or 4 pitch, and you keep spamming that button, obviously the batter's gonna be able to pick up on it, so you're gonna be able to line it into the gap for a base hit or whatever. But for pitchers like Bruce Sutter, who have a splitter as their number 1, it's gonna be their most effective pitch, obviously, because they throw it the most often. It's their primary pitch. They said that it's still gonna be pretty effective, but they toned it down just a touch. That's really good news to hear. Let's see, what else did they discuss? They said that pitch speeds. All right, this is a big one that everybody was asking for. Everybody's like, what are they going to do with pitch speeds? Well, we finally have an answer. So they said that for rookie difficulty, all right, yes, you heard me right, rookie difficulty, they toned the pitch speeds down. All right, you heard me correctly, guys. For rookie difficulty, they toned speed pitches down. All right, that's what they said. All right, I'm just telling you guys what they said. I guess their reasoning behind it was that the guys who play on rookie were a lot worse than they expected, so they toned it down for the lower quarter of those guys. All right, let's see, and then they also ended up talking about legend pitching. They said offline, legend pitching is going to be fast, but then when you go online and you playing World Series, it's going to be even faster. All right, so they bumped up legend pitch speeds. Diamond Dynasty, it's going to be fast. Online, it's going to be even faster. So they ended up by the looks of it, or by the sounds and looks of it, pitching will end up being. Allegedly, they didn't show any gameplay of it, which I found kind of weird. But then again, I can understand why, because there wasn't, that's the player gap thing whole that you guys know what I'm on about. But yeah, basically they just fixed fastballs and cutters and sinkers and all that stuff. But I think more so they were focusing on 4 seams and 2 seams. They also discussed the home runs per 9 attribute. They said that it's going to be guys with the high home run per 9 stat is going to be more effective against the power guys, more so the power guys. All right. So if somebody has an 85 overall home runs per 9 and somebody has a 65 overall home runs per 9, you're probably going to want to take the 85 overall over the 65 overall. And basically they said what the stat is going to do is it's whenever he's facing a power hitter, he's going to tone him down just a little bit. All right, so he has less of a chance of hitting a home run. which is exactly how I kind of translated it when they first said that home runs per nine was going to be was gonna translate in game. I was like, all right, so they're gonna be hitting less home runs or being allowing less home runs. So yeah, basically they said so. Like if you have a Jacob deGrom going up against a Joey Gallo, and Joey Gallo has 99. Let's just say he has 99 power on both sides, and Jacob deGrom has a 90 home runs per nine. All right, I'm just making up these stats; these are not real. Joey Gallo's power might be taken down to like a 95. All right, 95 or 94 on both sides. Making him, it's like it's still going to be effective, but it's not going to be it's not going to like completely nerf that power hitter. It was just a really cool way that that they're going to be able to, that I can actually throw a fastball, or that I can finally feel comfortable throwing against a guy like Joey Gallo. And we're going to discuss like the PCI and all that stuff later on in the video, in this video. But next up, they decided to go ahead and discuss the pure contact guys. All right, so we're talking about the Rod Carews, the Tony Gwynns, Wade Boggs, Ichiro, all of those guys. So here's the first screenshot that I ended up capturing when they started talking about contact guys. So this is Wade Boggs. And you can see he is lining that one into the gap, or dropped right in front of the outfielder. They showed so many different scenarios. They showed a guy lining one into, right into the left center gap, or right into the right center gap and bouncing over the wall. They showed a bunch of different scenarios. They ground ball right through the side, hard ground ball right through the right side. This one was an interesting. This one was a bit of an interesting one because they used Victor Martinez as this example, and I don't know. He retired this past year, so we don't know if he's actually coming back into the game. I highly doubt he is. But yeah, this one, he was lining that one right into the gap. They also showed an example. They also ended up showing an example of Russell Martin, 87 overall Russell Martin. He ended up hitting a home run. So it's not like the pure contact guys can't hit home runs, because obviously they can. But it's not going to be their main focus. What they said was their main focus is going to be, lining it into the gap. They're not looking for, they're not swinging for the fences. Honestly, I'm really excited, because one of my favorite things in MLB The Show is using contact guys, because I love using guys like Tony Gwynn and Ichiro. But unfortunately, this year we just couldn't play with them, because that's just how the game worked. This next screenshot is very interesting. All right, so as you can see, if you look over here down in the bottom left, look at the feedback. You're probably wondering why are we looking at the feedback again? You already addressed that. Look at the contact results of that pitch. All right. So it says squared up. So basically what they were discussing in this frame right here is they were discussing the swing timing. They talked about the PCI placement, and they also ended up talking about what was the other thing? I forgot what the other thing was. Oh yeah, the swing analysis. All right, so yeah, this is talking about the feedback, the PCI, and the feedback that we get from it. I think I said feedback twice, but who cares? But as you can see, he ended up squaring it up and hitting it 103 off of the bat. So, and that was off of a contact guy. I can't remember who. I think it may have been Tony Gwynn. But yeah, just looking at this, guys, it looks so much better than this past year's game. And they also discussed the swing timing. They said good timing was way too broad. So basically, they said what the devs said was that good swing timing is only going to be above average. All right, well, like above average only. So swing timing is going to be, or as the devs put it, PCI is king, swing timing is queen. All right. That's how they decided to phrase it. So that might be the new slogan for MLB The Show 19. So instead of Just Late Be Great from 17, we're gonna be PCI is king, swing timing is queen. All right, we should try to make that a thing. But yeah, honestly, this just gets me, so excited for next year's game. Like, I want to pick it up and play it already. But yeah, they also ended up discussing in this next screenshot right here. They ended up discussing that whenever you go into an online game, it's going to tell you what kind of a batter you're dealing with. All right, so this could be for both the pitcher side and also for the batter side. Even though the batter side is most likely already going to know even though both sides are probably already going to know what kind of batter they're dealing with. But yeah, as you can see, Rod Carew, he has that blue contact plate underneath him. So they're probably going to end up doing something like they said they had a contact, power, and then balanced. I think those were the three different styles of players they had. So yeah, Rod Carew, he would be like a contact guy. And then if they were to go for like a balanced guy, they'd probably go for somebody like a Ken Griffey Jr. or a Vladimir Guerrero type. And then for the power guys, those guys are going to be like the Joey Gallos and probably like the Jason Giambis of the world. All right. So honestly, another really cool, it's a small thing, but at the same time, it's pretty big for the game. So yeah, that was pretty cool, and that was basically all they really discussed for the hitting stream, the hitting changes. Honestly, just looking at the way the game played overall, if you guys weren't in there, it was a really cool thing to see. Actually seeing these guys get rewarded for squaring up the ball, like they even threw in an example of a guy squaring up a pitch and it was lined right at somebody. I found that pretty cool because, obviously if you square up a pitch, it's not always going to get down for a hit. It could go right at somebody. That could be frustrating for a lot of guys, but that's how baseball is. But then we finally got a brand new legend reveal. They did end up doing a giveaway. That doesn't really matter. But they ended up bringing Luis and Tips back onto the set for the second stream to reveal yet another legend. In the last stream, Tips was just wearing a PlayStation hoodie. Nothing too crazy to, worry about. But in this stream, he ended up walking in with a Florida Marlins jersey. All right. If you guys don't know, Tips is a Marlins fan. Very small trivia fact for you guys. But everybody in the chat was going nuts. And just like they did with Jimmy Fox in the last one, they had another reveal video. And the first thing that you see right here is a Texas Rangers baseball club patch. Oh my God. Tips is wearing a Marlins jersey, Texas Rangers patch you already know, and then you see the catcher's glove and the number 7, and then you see the number 7 on his wristband. And then you see the final reveal. That is correct, my guys. We are getting Ivan Pudge Rodriguez in MLB The Show 19. He's probably been one of the most asked for legends, probably probably ever. I was going to say in quite some time, but probably ever. Everybody's been asking for him for a while now, ever since he got inducted into the Hall of Fame at least. We didn't get him this year, but we are getting him next year. So we are getting more catchers, more contact guys, more speed guys, just more diversity for our lineups. And, I couldn't be more excited to, see Pudge on the screen. We're going to be getting so many more new legends too. They did give us a little sneak peek into the legend reveals next week. They said there's going to be a hitter and there's also going to be a pitcher. So, do with that information what you will. They didn't tell us who they were going to be, obviously, because they're going to reveal it next week. But next week's streams stream, because there's only going to be one from here on out. That one is going to end up being about, Road to the Show. So for all of you Road to the Show players, make sure you guys tune into that stream next week. And they said on Monday or Tuesday, expect some more, expect some more news drops from GameStop Monday and all of that fun stuff. But I think that is going to go ahead and do it for this video, guys. If you did not see my recap to the defensive overhaul streams, I'll make sure to leave that link in the description as well as an end card at the end of this video. But yeah, make sure you guys go check that video out as well. I think it's pretty cool, like seeing all these gameplay changes and just keeping our fingers crossed that it actually translates into the game. I'm not expecting a perfect, I'm not expecting it to be absolutely flawless, but if it's a solid 8.5 or a 9 out of 10, I'll be the happiest camper on earth. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel and turn on those bell notifications if you want to stay up to date with MLB The Show 19 news, and I will see you guys in the next one.